Why is no other African country saying, okay, South Africa, you deal with that. We'll continue to support you. We will deal with Congo, and you, that other country, you can deal with South Sudan. And the three of us, we can continue to sponsor this bill and sponsor and go to the ICC, the ICJ, do whatever is required. Why are we not getting that? Because if it wasn't for South Africa, let's be frank, Africa would be quiet about Palestine as well. They literally would be. Yeah. And my callers are calling already, but I'm gonna calm down, people. I'm not gonna let him answer that because I threw quite a lot at him there, and then I'll come and pick up your call. Go ahead.
To be fair to South Africa is engaged now. Whenever I'm speaking about these UN forces who are moving toward Kanyabayonga today, the South African Defense Force, they have been deployed to DRC to fight alongside the Congolese military. South Africa in Congo's conflict have been on the right side of history, right? Even in the 2000, if you recall, in 2002, the peace accord signed by the warring party took place in South Africa at Sun City, right?
But it's always Pretoria. South Africa. This is my point. Where is the rest of Africa?
I believe, right, that if we don't add the class analysis, we think that these leaders have the answer. I also believe that South Africa's action around Palestine is driven by the consciousness of the South African people as it relates to the Palestinian support when they were fighting the apartheid regime.
Absolutely.
Right? So African leaders, at least what I've observed, when it comes to Rwanda and Uganda, particularly Rwanda, and I'm noticing that a lot in West Africa. I can't tell you how many young people I've met in West Africa who are telling me that Paul Kagame is an exemplary leader, right? And he's a benevolent dictator.
Yes.
But somehow they do not know that he is responsible for the millions of deaths in the DRC. But how did this happen? There was a huge, and there is still a huge PR campaign, sometime led by Tony Blair, to present Rwanda in the light that is not true, right? Examples.
And to those of you who don't know who Tony Blair is, that's the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Keep going.
Indeed. So they will present you Kigali with, say Kigali is a great street, and it's very clean. And it's embarrassing to hear that, right? Because I've been to Cape Town, and Cape Town is clean. What does that actually mean? Does it mean that South Africans are free in Cape Town? That they control their land there? Why do we have EFF and Julius Malema speaking about we need to reappropriate the land? Having a street clean doesn't mean that people in the country is free. There is forbidden stories that just been published this week showing how inside of the country it's a mono-ethnic government that does not accept any dissent, right? So that's one. So people have received the information, a PR information, to present Rwanda as a success story for a reason. Rwanda is an intelligence hub for the United States and United Kingdom. Rwandan soldiers are being deployed in Mozambique. They don't speak Portuguese. Why are they in Mozambique? They are there because Rwanda today, as a member of Francophonie, working directly with the French president, Emmanuel Macron, want to help France, right? The country that they are accusing of participating in the genocide. Rwanda is helping France with its interest in Mozambique. And so if we have a narrative, a very simple narrative, what we act last way, that we say that slavery happened because some of our brothers and sisters, some of the chiefs sold our brothers. It was not the African people. It was the leaders who were in the positions where they benefited from that trade. And a few decades later, they start complaining they're stealing my people. But you allowed that to happen. It's the same thing. The slavery exploitative system hasn't changed to today. So when we see that African leaders are not engaging, we should say that the African leaders of today who are not engaging positively in the Congo are the chiefs an example of the chiefs who participated in slavery. So that's why it's upon us, the ordinary people, to organize, not the leaders. When the people of Africa really understand that the centrality of the Congo for the development of Africa, for the benefit of what they are, they will stand up.
Okay.
And they will say that it does not make any sense that millions should die, and start making the connection. If people in the Niger Delta are dying because of oil, definitely you can understand that millions are dying in the Congo because of its mineral resources.
Absolutely right. I'm going to answer their call, but I do want you to keep a question in mind, though. I'd like you to tell us, because I'm aware of what's his name, Christian Malanga and his failed coup, and of course the case, the law, the legal case in the US against Apple that was lost. Please keep that in mind. Let me answer this cause before they start. I might cause a riot in the streets of Nigeria. Hello. Okay, sorry, I came to you. Your line cut off. Hello.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Koboko.
Yeah, Koboko, go ahead. You have to speak very slowly, please, Koboko.
I want to ask him a question. Why is it that the West are hinging two types in African leaders? Another one. When Rwanda and Burundi left Congo, 1997, when they started the war of Congo, what is the cause of the war of Congo? Thank you very much.
Okay. There, I heard Burundi. I didn't hear the rest. Hello.
Hey, Sisoji, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. What's your name and where you calling from?
You have to pick it up. I'm calling you from. I'm on the way right now.
Okay. I need you to speak louder.
Yeah, is it better now?
Yes, much better. Go ahead.
Thank you. I like the last comment you made about why slavery was possible, and I said that before in your program. First of all, we need to get one reality clear. The problem Africa is going through today is a problem that started before 140 years ago. That is the Berlin Conference, 1884-1885, where everybody was just packed together and they just shared Africa, demarcated one people, even when they are the same, against each other. We had no contribution to that. The problem is what we are still going through today. And if you want to go back a bit, we talk first of all of slavery. Slavery, after a while, it died off. You talk about colonialism. After a while, everybody got independent. But yes, there was independence, but new colonialism is on. And I'd like to mention the name of Kwame Nkrumah. It is the Pan-Africanism. And if you look at that, Patrick Mungunga, Kenneth Kaunda, Samora, Masay, all of them, if you see what they fought for, they were the first set of African leaders. And the quality you had then, you don't have them today, including in Nigeria, Ghana.
Yeah, Titi Lokpa, you're one of the people that talks about Congo. So what do you want to say?
No. We are saying the same thing.
Okay.
You get to understand my preamble better now.
Okay.
You see, the whole essence about the black man. Now, let me shorten that in preamble now. Now, just recently, last week, Kenya president came back from America, simply to see America president. They gave him a state visit or what have you. Why? Because he sent people to Haiti. Why Haiti? Haiti got independence 1804. Very rich country, black people. But the West press called them, they are voodoo people, they are this, they have cholera, who destroyed Haiti? Are they not the same people? They're not giving an African president to stand as a stooge for them.
I understand, Titlok, but the phones are going, so
the point is that Africa will never get anywhere if we don't understand, like the way the Senegalese are doing now, the Malians are doing, the Burkina Faso people are doing, the Nigerian people are doing. We must stand up and stop all this that will bring back the old national anthem given to you by this colonial master. It's not the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Titilokwe. I think you got most of that, Kambale, right? So let me go to another call. Hello? Hello?
Hello, Sisioge. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, this is Chris. Chris from Ikeja.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. I've been listening to your guests, and they're speaking a lot about Africa. And it still lies on the youth. Because just today, somebody told me, an elderly man just came to me and told me that, guy, if you have an opportunity to leave this country, leave this country. This country is not for you. It's not for Nigerian youth. It's not for the Africans. So how do we do this? Why do African leaders continue to be a stooge to this Western power?
Okay.
The other day, it was Kenyan president in America. What is he going there for? To seek for what? For the African people. Now look at what is going on in Congo. CNN is not even carrying it. Not talking of BBC. But they want us to believe what is going on in Palestine and in the Ukraine. This is not fair. African people, the youth should rise up.
Thank you.
You should rise up to education.
Thank you.
Please.
There was no question. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
My name is Chuka Chuda. I'm calling from Ayopo.
Chuka, I hope you have a question because this is borderlines.
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Bakare.
Go ahead.
Good evening to you again.
Yes, he can hear you. Kambale.
Yes. I have a concern that what is going on in the Congo may be replicated elsewhere in Africa. And I'm thinking about my home state, Nigeria. It may be replicated or is being replicated in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay. Not quite sure what the question is, but hello.
Hello, Suzy.
Good evening.
Good evening. Marovito is my name.
Okay, go ahead. What is your question? We don't have time. People keep wanting to make statements.
Yeah. My question is, what is the way forward?
Right. Okay.
This South African lady, I don't know her name now, that is suggesting that one of the secrets the Europeans, the Americans, are using to enslave Africans is money, the World Bank, the IMF. Why are we not creating our own fund system?
Right.
And pray that our diaspora Africans contribute into their pocket for us to use to make our own ammunitions and find a way to fight back.
Okay, thank you. I think we have enough there. Can I give you 3 minutes to deal with all of those?
I'll try my best.
They're mostly comments.
Comments.
Yeah, mostly comments. Yes, mostly comments.
So the first comment kind of hinted at Senegal, Mali, Niger, Burkina as a way forward. I partly agree, but I still think that we need to be much more critical and think about information.
Wouldn't a coup be the same as having, an M23, a militia group? Because what he was hinting at is a coup.
But you mentioned Senegal. There was no
okay.
coup.
Well, yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's the only
that's
exception.
Why I was saying that I partly agree, right? I think that each people need to determine their own affairs. If that's what they choose, it's fine. But the reason why I was pointing at Senegal is that when people look at what took place there, just 2 weeks ago, the president of Senegal, Diomaye Faye, was sitting right beside Paul Kagame of Rwanda. Yeah. Right? It's the same thing with Sonko, the prime minister, was with Paul Kagame of Rwanda. It means to me that they are not even informed about what Paul Kagame is doing. So I believe no matter what we think about the Congo, the most important thing is for people to educate themselves about what is happening in the Congo. When you know what the situation is, it helps you in finding out what are the solutions.
Yeah.
The one on the youth, youth is the answer. I also partly agree. But youth without knowledge may not be also helpful, right? So they have to collaborate. And spoke about even myself. I'm still learning from the Congolese elders who are sharing with me context, because sometimes youth, we repeat history. Yeah. Right? Without realizing that we do. So having the knowledge is important. When speaking about Kenya, I see Ruto more as a populist. A year or so ago, he was talking about China, right? That very soon we are not going to use the dollar. We're going to be looking east. Then all of a sudden, now he's talking about the West, right? And quoting Kwame Nkrumah.
Exactly.
So we have to be able to identify populists, not just pointing at these leaders. Oh, we want to follow the person who had the nice punchlines. We actually have to look at when he was making the comment on China, what was happening in Kenya. There have been protests in Kenya. People in Kenya are fighting the regime. And now the US, with its all military might, they are going to provide this military support to Ruto, who is going to oppress the Kenyan people. The situation in the Congo can be replicated also in Nigeria. And I do believe that it can be replicated anywhere on the African continent if we understand why we have the situation. Congo has land, Congo has resources, and people live on that land. And through the capitalist system, a capitalist society, they want to extract these minerals at literally no cost and pretty much steal the profits, right? Steal the resources, steal the profit, and that's why we're dying. And these examples, even when we look at Palestine, they are already talking about the
gas,
oil and gas that they want to get from Gaza, right? And we're seeing the death toll. So if we have that prism, then we understand it can be replicated. What is the way forward for the Congo? In one sentence, is to stop the exploitation. Now, from Nigeria, what does that mean? I have, beyond the End SARS movement, I have not seen major protests in Nigeria where people of Nigeria are calling for a free and liberated Congo. So I will call for Nigerians to go to freecongo.org, right? That's a site where people can sign up, and then you start getting actions. What can you do in your own country? Nigeria, I think you are 1/4 of the population of the African continent.
Yes, we are.
And you can actually influence the whole African continent by demanding that Congo sovereignty is not encroached, right? The Congo's borders. That's the battle. That exploitation stops. You should ask your leaders. The president now is Tinubu. What is he doing about the Congo in international fora, at the African Union, in ECOWAS, in all the bodies? If your elected officials are not telling you anything, then you know where the problem lies. They are the chiefs who are sending us into slavery, and we need to hold them accountable.
Indeed.
So those are what I was able to capture as people's.
That's fine. I have a good question here. If it's on WhatsApp, it says, "Evening to you, Sergey, and to your guest as well. How can we talk of African unity if Rwanda, even after coming out of a genocide itself, is allegedly part of the problem in Congo?" And that's from Gabe in Aja. And that's interesting. It's, you talked about Ruto, the whole sort of romanticization and Disneyfication and beautification of Paul Kagame, and how he's been packaged, this ex warlord has been packaged to be the greatest Democrat since what's his name. It's really quite. And you're right. Now you have more and more people saying, "Oh, perhaps that's who we need. Perhaps we need, a benevolent dictator." Well, I've often said, if he actually cared, and I'm not saying he doesn't, but if he truly cared, it wouldn't be a case of him being there for 20 odd years, 30 years now. It would be a case of him actually mentoring young people. If he likes, they can all be young people that he has mentored. Right? Mentoring young people to take over, I don't know, every 8 years or whatever. But we don't see that. So where somebody is actually focused on quashing opposition, how then do we begin to praise them? My question is, where is the institution that will remain when Paul Kagame is gone? Because I don't see it. Do you?
It's a worry. It's worrisome for us because also what happens in Rwanda affects the Congo. And we know that for a fact, right? Whenever there was a genocide in Rwanda, we in the Congo felt it because we had over 1 million Rwandans who crossed the border, right? And the end of the Kagame regime, if it's not well managed, we will suffer from that as well. But it's predictable, right? We are talking about a country that has predominantly 3 ethnic groups: Hutus, Tutsis, and Twa. Twa are pejoratively sometimes pygmies. They're not pygmies. They're Buti or Twa. right? Over 80% of the population is Hutu. Over 12% are Tutsis. And he's run for election 3 times with over 90% of the votes. We know there is no election in Rwanda, and they're holding an election again. More than likely, is going to be declared.
Well, yes, he has said he's going to run again.
Yeah. So when we are all seeing that, and we're saying that he's a benevolent dictator, are we looking at the facts, right, of what is actually happening to the Rwandan people? They say to us that he has the highest numbers of women in parliament, in government office. But every single woman who's ever run for president has been arrested.
Exactly. Oh, we've never seen them again.
No one is discussing that, right? You have journalist John Williams Twali died in a car accident. Everyone knows that he's being killed. He's a former head of intelligence killed in a hotel outside of Rwanda. But you see, all this, I can go on and on with facts, right? About what are the issues inside of the country, how the country is run. I can talk about the conflict in the DRC. I can even talk about the
We've got just
Burundi
a minute left. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. But all those things are not helpful because Africans are not actually holding Rwanda and Uganda accountable.
Accountable, yes.
Right? That the call is not just to see what happens. The call is to stop it before there is another Rwanda genocide. We have a Congolese genocide with over 6 million Congolese. So freeing the Congo, right?
Yeah.
And stopping the conflict around the world is what's going to bring end to the crisis between Congo and there. And I really hope the listeners will go to freecongo.org, sign up, stay engaged to support the Congolese resistance as we are striving to have a liberated country. So that maybe one day we can do this show in Kinshasa.
Absolutely. Well, we haven't finished this conversation. You've got to come back. I've sent a message to my producer. I don't know if we're going to have space for you to come back next week or the week after, but we need you to come back within the next couple of weeks because I'm getting messages even on my private phone saying, what's his Twitter handle? What's his book? What's his this? What's his that? Kambale, please give us your social media handle, please, because lots of people will write it down.
Indeed. People can go to my website directly, kambale.com, Kambale.com to get me. My Twitter handle is Kambale, Kambale. So at Kambale. Instagram is the same, Kambale with an M at the end. Okay. I'm very accessible. I would love to work with people who want a free Congo and a free Africa.
We certainly do, and that's what Borderlines is all about. Not only do we want that, we want Africans educated about Africa and beyond Africa, because that's the only way we can actually take power back. Kambale, thank you so much. My producer will be in touch. Like I said, you might be back in 2 weeks' time or 3 weeks' time, but you're going to be back very soon. Because we're going to talk about Rwanda in more. We literally have to unpack Rwanda. People don't get what's going on in Rwanda.
I am available, and we can also bring Rwandans to also discuss that, and we can have a whole panel discussing what's happening there.
That's a date. Thank you so much, my brother. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
99.3 Nigeria Info, working to bring you up to speed on today's events.
How do we get everybody on board? How do we convince people that COVID is real, that COVID is not a scam?
We have prominent Nigerians that have died from this COVID, and government has come out to say, yeah, that individual died from COVID. So why are people not believing that? Why would we lie?
When you just eat Gary a lot without adding other things, you can have problems with the eyes. Especially when Gary isn't properly processed.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.